Summer's almost here, which means blockbuster season is kicking into gear. The month of May saw new trailers for upcoming superhero films, hard-rocking biopics, heart-pounding horror flicks, and everything in between. In fact, we're already getting trailers for movies coming out as far away as November, so hold on tight. This is going to be a wild ride. Here are all the trailers released in May 2018 that are sure to blow you away. Upgrade. Each new trailer for Upgrade raises the stakes, making this look like one of the most unique surprises of 2018. Logan Marshall Green stars as Gray Trace, a technophobe in the near future who's implanted with a computer chip that turns him into a supercharged fighting machine. Early critic screenings have come out largely positive, with the general consensus being that Upgrade is a fun, action-packed, and supremely violent movie, perfect for kicking off the summer blockbuster season. With Lee Winnell, creator of horror franchises Saw and Insidious, pulling writing and directing duties on Upgrade, you can count on a double dose of insanity. Look for it in theaters on June 1st. Sicario, Day of the Soldado. Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro are back in the latest trailer for Sicario, Day of the Soldado, reprising their roles from 2015's surprise gangland hit. This time, they're working to create a cartel war in Mexico, using every means at their disposal to escalate the violence and murders. Judging by the trailer, it's bound to be everything that made the first one great and then some. Sicario, Day of the Soldado is set to premiere in theaters on June 29th. Escape Plan 2. There won't be a theatrical release for Escape Plan 2, but that doesn't mean it's skimping on the action or the star power. Sylvester Stallone returns as Ray Breslin, who was wrongly imprisoned in the first Escape Plan. This time, he's putting himself behind bars on purpose so that he can break out a prisoner holding on to some sensitive information. It's a race against time to find the valuable prisoner before assassins can take him out. And then it's a race against even less time to get out of the prison alive. Dave Bautista joins the crew, and 50 Cent is returning as well. You can check it out when Escape Plan 2 hits Blu-ray and on demand on June 29th. Ant-Man and the Wasp. More than perhaps any other Marvel property, Ant-Man thrives on its fantastic visuals, and the latest trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp promises so much size swapping it'll make your head spin. Most exciting, though, is the introduction of the film's villain, Ghost. Originally introduced in the comic pages as an enemy of Iron Man, Ghost is an anti-corporate anarchist who uses a high-tech suit to pass through solid matter. That extra element is bound to lead to some insane fight sequences. Look for Ant-Man and the Wasp in theaters on July 6th. Bleeding Steel. Jackie Chan is back in action with this summer's Bleeding Steel, a sci-fi wonderland populated by fancy headgear, colorful lights, and skin-tight leather. Okay, so the trailer leaves a lot to be desired, but it showcases some interesting concepts and, of course, Jackie Chan kicking people. So many people. Bleeding Steel is going straight to video on demand, and there are probably worse ways to spend an evening at home. Look for it on July 6th. Skyscraper. In case you still weren't sure what Skyscraper is about, the latest trailer lays it out pretty clearly. Former FBI agent Will Sawyer lost his leg in an explosion, and now he examines buildings for a living to see if they have any security flaws. While he's in China consulting for the world's new tallest building, terrorists attack the building and frame him for the job. Since his family's inside, he has to escape the police and get inside. Don't worry, he makes it and takes out the terrorists one by one. Sounds like fun. Dwayne Johnson and director Rawson Marshall Thurber previously collaborated on Central Intelligence, and this newest team-up hits theaters on July 13th. The Death of Superman. Say what you want about the DCEU, but DC runs the game on animated films, and The Death of Superman looks like a great new addition to the animated line. This adaptation of the iconic 1990s crossover event sees Superman facing off against the bloodthirsty monster Doomsday in a fight that just may see the end of the Kryptonian superhero. And if you're thinking, haven't I seen this cartoon before? You're absolutely right. DC's 2007 animated film, Superman Doomsday, was a lackluster attempt to combine all three parts of the comic arc into one film. The upcoming Death of Superman is slated to be the first in a two-parter, allowing more of the story to unfold on screen. Look for it on July 24th. Mission Impossible Fallout. Despite multiple sequels, the Mission Impossible franchise has never failed to disappoint. Well, after the second one at least. In the latest trailer for Mission Impossible Fallout, we learn that, once again, the government doesn't trust Ethan Hunt to get an important job done. Forced to go rogue, Hunt and his loyal team have to track down a nuclear weapon while staying 2 steps ahead of the CIA and their super spy, August Walker, played by Henry Cavill. The stakes are just as high as ever, the stunts are just as real, and the mission is just as impossible. Check out Mission Impossible Fallout when it lands in theaters on July 27th. Mile 22. Starring Mark Wahlberg, Mile 22 follows a Special Forces operative who's tasked with protecting a police officer who knows the location of 9 pounds of missing radioactive bomb material. The trailer builds up the initial premise without giving too many details away, instead focusing on Mark Wahlberg's gunslinging skills and Iko Uwais' insane martial arts. The high-stakes action thrill ride is set to hit theaters on August 3rd. The HappyTime Murders. If the Muppets were in a gangland drama written by Sacha Baron Cohen and directed by Seth Rogen, it might look a lot like the HappyTime Murders, a raunchy, profanity-laden comedy about a world where puppets and humans live together. When someone starts murdering a bunch of famous puppets, 2 detectives embark on a journey through the seedy underbelly of Puppetville to solve the case. What's actually surprising about this is that it's directed and co-produced by Jim Henson's son, Brian Henson, who previously directed such family fare as The Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure Island. The HappyTime Murders hits theaters on August 17th. Down a Dark Hall. Uma Thurman is front and center in the new trailer for Down a Dark Hall as a headmaster of a creepy boarding school for girls where something sinister may be lurking in the hallways at night. Based on a novel by Lois Duncan, Down a Dark Hall follows troubled young Kit Gordy, who's transferred to Blackwood boarding school and finds herself face-to-face with a supernatural threat. The trailer is heavy on the atmosphere, including a faceless cloaked man, creepy occult rituals, and the implication that there are definitely sinister happenings going down. Take a look on August 17th. Papillon. The story of a man who's wrongly convicted of murder and sentenced to life in a brutal prison in French Guiana, Papillon focuses on his harrowing escape from prison and his adventures in the tropics after he gets out. Starring Charlie Hunnam as Papillon and Rami Malek as his fellow escapee, Papillon looks like it hits all the right beats for a remake. It has adventure, high-stakes prison escaping, and a love story holding it all together. Papillon sails into theaters on August 24th. City of Lies. There's a lot to take in from the first trailer for City of Lies. 20 years after the murders of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls, a journalist tracks down the detective who is in charge of the case, Russell Poole, played by Johnny Depp. As he digs deeper, he uncovers a twisted conspiracy involving the LAPD and the local gangs, and he's quick to learn that when you open a scar that's been closed for 20 years, blood is bound to flow. Depp is in top form as the jaded detective, but it's Forrest Whitaker who really shines in the trailer as journalist Jack Jackson. Check out City of Lies when it hits theaters on September 7th. The Predator. Shane Black's Predator film finally released its first teaser, dropping the extraterrestrial hunter right in the suburbs of Middle America. The teaser doesn't give away many plot details, leaving the big surprises for the film itself, or maybe just future trailers. The preview begins with a young boy playing with some kind of alien transmitter device, apparently calling the Predator to Earth. Then, we're introduced to Boyd Holbrook's character, a soldier who saw the alien when its ship crashed. The Predator was written by Shane Black and Fred Decker, who previously teamed up for 1987's The Monster Squad. Look for The Predator to hit theaters on September 14th. Mowgli. Sure, we just saw a high-profile live-action version of The Jungle Book in 2016, but it never went in a direction quite like this. Don't expect any ditties about the bare necessities in Mowgli, which promises a darker take on the young boy's jungle upbringing. Motion capture legend Andy Serkis directs the film and voices Baloo. Christian Bale, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Cate Blanchett also lend their voices to the film. Mowgli arrives in theaters on October 19th. Bohemian Rhapsody. Mr. Robot finally finds somebody to love in the first trailer for Bohemian Rhapsody, a biopic about the iconic rock band Queen. Rami Malek is transformed as frontman Freddie Mercury in the trailer, sporting the rocker's legendary mustache and all his onstage swagger. Bohemian Rhapsody traces the band's formation, their rise to fame, and one of Mercury's final performances at the 1985 Live Aid concert. Mike Myers is also slated to appear in the film, along with Game of Thrones' Aidan Gillen. Production on the biopic has been notoriously troubled, with original director Bryan Singer getting the boot in December 2017 after reports of him clashing with Rami Malek. Dexter Fletcher was brought in to finish the film and oversee post-production. Hopefully, the on-screen drama doesn't suffer due to the behind-the-scenes drama. You can find out when Bohemian Rhapsody premieres on November 2nd. Robin Hood. It'd be easy to call the upcoming Robin Hood film a knockoff of the non-stop insanity style of movies like Kingsman. But hey, if you get an action movie where you can actually see the action, everybody wins. Filled with slow-mo arrow fights and exploding horse-drawn carts, Robin Hood definitely looks like a cheesily overblown take on the story, but there's no denying that it's a feast for the eyes. Starring Taron Egerton, Jamie Foxx, and Ben Mendelsohn, Robin Hood will follow the familiar tale. Disgusted with the corrupt government, Super Archer Robin makes it his mission to steal from the rich and give to the poor. Look for it in theaters on November 21st. The Sisters Brothers. It's a fact, the world needs more good westerns, and it looks like The Sisters Brothers is set to deliver. For starters, it has an amazing cast. John C. Reilly and Joaquin Phoenix star, with Jake Gyllenhaal, Riz Ahmed, and Rutger Hauer co-starring. The story follows the infamous hitmen the Sisters Brothers, who are hired to track down a gold prospector who stole from a local crime boss, kicking off a darkly comic adventure in the Old West. The trailer promises a hilarious journey anchored by the chemistry between Phoenix and Reilly, who play the skilled yet dysfunctional brothers. With so much talent on board, The Sisters Brothers is definitely a movie to keep an eye on. You can find it in theaters sometime in fall 2018. Thanks for watching. Click the looper icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel, plus check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.